Darla from DearDarla.com, and this week I have my cousin Angela, and she's from ParisienFarmGirl.com.
Very good.
Okay, I tried really hard on that one. So far this month we've been baking bread with the Dear Darla Baking Challenge, and this week we're going to make French baguettes. What's a French baguette?
A French baguette is that quintessential French bread, and so it's long and the crust is really crusty, and it's got bubbles inside, and it's absolutely delicious the first day, and there's lots of ways you can use it the second day.
Yeah. So we started our dough with a little bit of honey and water and yeast in a bowl, and we let it sit for about 5 minutes to make a sponge. And then we added our flour and our water, and we let it rise in a warm place for 1 hour. And so now we're going to take our dough and we're going to shape it. So here we have a double recipe, but you're going to take your recipe and you can make about 4 baguettes with it. So you quarter up your dough and you start shaping. We're going to start with like a rectangle here. And then we're going to fold in to the third, and then we're going to knead it. And so we're making a seam along the middle. And as we do that, and we're going to go back and do it again, as we do that, you can see our dough getting a little bit longer and a little bit thinner. And so we're going to do this until it's about 1.5 to 2 inches thick. And I don't know, how long would you say?
Oh, probably 24 inches, 18 to 24, depending on your pan.
And we can bake these, the way I'm going to show you guys how to do it is to do the same way those of us who made overnight bread and didn't have Dutch ovens. We're going to bake it that way, where we kind of leave, right when we preheat our oven to 450 degrees, we're going to put a pan in the bottom rack and let it heat up with our oven. So then when it's time to bake, we're going to put our bread in and simultaneously add about ½ a cup of ice cold water into that pan. So when we hurry and shut the oven, it's going to make this steam bath within our oven, and that's going to give us that crisp crust on the outside.
So you're like making an oven within an oven.
Mm-hmm.
And that steam helps create that awesome crust.
Right. So here, I'm about done with this baguette, and you can see it looks pretty pathetic and skinny right now. But don't forget, we're about to let it rise for another ½ an hour, and then we're going to bake it, and it's going to hit that heat in the oven and really puff up. This is generally how you do it. I know that there's probably a way to make it perfectly symmetrical and beautiful every time, but I kind of like when it's rustic and it looks handmade, and I don't know, it's homemade bread. It's not supposed to look like it came out of a machine. And I just kind of noodled these ends here, which is the official term.
The official?
Yep.
It's French.
Lay noodle, the ends here. So they come to a little point right here. I just love that. And then we're going to put it seam side down on our pan. Just keep it within the pan right there. And we're going to move on to our next one.
I will tell you this funny story though. You know, I had that apartment in Paris for 6 weeks.
Yes.
And one day I had been out just shopping and walking. I used to walk like 5 miles a day with my camera. And I was so hungry. And I was in the Latin Quarter, and it was this road about from the edge of the oven to the edge of the counter. And this little white like Peugeot car was going down this little tiny road, and its hatch, the back hatch was open, and the entire back, it was all baguettes. And they were just stopping at each restaurant and selling them. And so I knew what they were doing. I knew they were selling, you know, to the trade or whatever, but I asked, can I have one please? I was so hungry, and they sold me one. And that's one of my favorite memories, is like, where are you ever going to see a small white car full of baguettes, you know, going 2 miles an hour down the road?
You could just ask them, like an ice cream truck.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was like an ice cream truck. It was
so
great.
Awesome. I'm going to do one more baguette on this because we have room on our pan.
Okay.
And Angela, can you show us your pan?
Sure.
And kind of explain that deal?
Okay. This is my secret weapon of choice.
Look at that.
I love this. It's seasoned. But this helps keep, if you find that you're having a hard time getting the shape that you want, you can make your baguettes a little bit bigger than what Darla's doing. And use this pan. I love it. It's great.
And it kind of keeps that round shape.
Yeah, and especially when they're rising, you know, as you're getting a feel for your recipe and the consistency of your dough, you might have a couple flops. You might have bread that doesn't lay the way you want it to, and this is going to save your butt in the end. I love this.
Well, I want to try it. Let's try to put some of those on this here.
All right.
One more question for you.
Sure.
The best baguette you've ever had? Because mine was probably from like the farmer's market. That's about as baguette as my life has gotten.
And what did you love about it?
I think breads, homemade breads, are so romantic. Even just the way they look and the smell of that like yeast, and to have like a warm, fresh baked bread is like so awesome. So I love the crunch and the crumb inside when it's just bubbly, and it almost, you can smell the fermentation. You can like, dough and
that
bread.
smell, that yeasty, homey smell. Okay, so of course I have to go back to Paris because you're indulging me. The best one I ever had was at a little boulangerie down the road from my apartment, and his name is Eric Kayser, Kayser. You can find him on the internet, and I think he now has places in New York City. But really, I noticed, I was out walking and I noticed a hubbub across the road, and then I smelled it and I realized people were standing in line for baguettes. They really do stand in line for the baguettes, and they really do ride down the road on a bicycle with a baguette in their panier, in their basket on the front of their bicycle. It does happen. Or they walk with it tucked under their arm. It's
I wish that was socially acceptable. I want to walk around with a baguette under my arm.
Right. So yeah, so that's Eric Kayser. That's where I had the best baguette. So every day I started going and standing in line at 5 o'clock with all the Parisians, because oh my gosh, it was incredible. And we're talking like squished up against the counter, you know, they're pressing against you, they're trying to get them before they're gone. Oh my goodness. And then I would take it and walk down and sit by the river and just eat the whole thing.
And why did you come back?
And
then you came back to here.
And I learned how to bake bread, right?
Yeah. So a typical baguette, like a French baguette, is no small deal. I mean, it takes like days, multiple rises, rolling. And so, yeah, we're cheating right now. We're making baguettes, but it gets the job done for us home bread bakers.
Yeah, and then you can bring bread to a party. You can be that friend that says, yeah, I'll bring bread, and I'll bring it for the hors d'oeuvre, or I'll bring it for the cheese spread, or you can know that you can throw a soup together really quick for your family and make some bread, and it's a great skill to have. And it's like this series that you're doing is so cool because it teaches people the beginnings.
Yeah, because bread isn't as scary as it sounds.
No.
And you know, it's all about shape. So for example, I just wanted to show you guys really quick. We are making baguettes, right? But if you wanted to make just a French bread, like if I made this one yesterday, we're doing, you know, like a kind of a squishier bread, and you want to make it for like a big squishy garlic bread with lasagna or something.
Oh yeah.
This is the exact same recipe, the exact same process, but I folded the ends in instead of to a point at the end, and I made 2 loaves out of the recipe you have. So I'll count both of these for the Dear Darla Baking Challenge if you make either one. The French baguette or the French bread, it doesn't matter, whatever suits your fancy. So we're going to cover these and let them rest for 30 minutes. Really quick, when it's time to bake them, this is the little cheat I do to give it that like rustic, romantic look, is I go back over what I did and I kind of sprinkle it with flour.
I love that. Because then you get this like professional, look at that. I love that.
Yeah. We did our rise and they just puffed up a little bit, and we're going to do our slashes. And slashing is when you basically control the direction and the amount of that big puff up rise that happens when you hit the heat in the oven. So I just like to do in baguettes, 3, use a serrated knife, 3 deep and very dramatic diagonal lines. And they say about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch deep. And this is also going to help keep our shape in our bread into this line. You don't want to cut it so deep that you're cutting it in half, and you don't want to cut too much on the sides either, because I've just found that to make my whole bread flop over.
Now, have you ever seen where they're like down the middle?
You want to try that on these?
I don't know, let's just try one and see what happens. Because like I know, you know,
I've seen them too.
Yeah, Trader Joe's has a great baguette, and there's this kind of like cracked open at the top. So so you just do like a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch
All the way down?
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Ooh. See what happens. I can't wait.
I know, I'm getting really hot.
The oven is hot. Smells like we're ready to go.
Yeah. So we're going to put these in at the same time, put in some water into that bottom pan, and 15 minutes later, we should have some French baguettes.
Sweet. Okay.
So here we are. Oh, yay! And we made baguettes. And these are are going to be beautiful. I mean, these are going to be,
they're gonna be good.
you can hear them crunching.
Yeah, they're like snap, crackle, popping. So let's see the difference. Can we show them?
Yeah.
So this is the one we cracked. We slit down the middle.
And this is the one we did the 3 slits in. And I will say, we took these out of the oven, how many? 7 minutes?
7 minutes, yeah.
7. This was, I mean, yeah. These cooked way faster in this pan where the air, so we'll make sure to put a link in there.
Right now.
In the show
Can
notes.
we get the sound effect?
Yeah.
Above the alphabet songs?
Hey, Lila, can you turn off that alphabet song? This has been a fun day.
Right.
Thank you, Lila. Here we go. Ready? Let's all listen.
Crack, guys. Okay, listen for the crack. Ready? Oh. Sweet. So we got
bubbles. It's called a crumb. So we got that crumb we were looking for. It's hot.
Even with our cheater bread.
Oh
Sweet.
my goodness. We did it.
Oh my goodness, it's great.
Okay, so you guys have to do this too. Make sure to go to Parisian Farm Girl to see this dip, this spread we're making.
Oh yeah.
You can, where is it? Oh my goodness.
We're gonna eat it here.
We're about to chow down, but this is some goat cheese and some secret awesome ingredients. So you'll have to go to her page and I'll link to it in our show notes. And make sure to hashtag the Dear Darla Baking Challenge so that I can get you guys entered to our giveaway at the end of the month. Do you want some of that? You ready? Okay, so thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. We're going to learn how to make sandwich bread next week.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that one. So thank you, and thank you, Angela, for letting us come to your beautiful kitchen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody